Hey everybody, it's Lone Wolf. Tonight's video is the start of a brand new series on my channel. The world is full of mysteries, mythologies, and strange creatures, including cryptids. For those who don't know, a cryptid is a creature that has not been officially proven by science, but is known to exist in folklore and local legends. Cryptids are known to exist in many different countries, including the United States. In fact, it is believed that each state in the US has its own resident cryptid. In this series, we will be going over the 50 cryptids reported in the 50 US states, including background information, various reports and sightings, and how they've worked their way into recent pop culture. I hope you all enjoy this journey we will be taking together. And without any further delays, let's get started. We will start our tour in Rhode Island, also known as the Ocean State. Despite the many things Rhode Island is famous for, including being the home of yours truly, one of its most infamous legends is the Mercy Brown vampire incident. Mercy Lena Brown was born in 1872 in Exeter, Rhode Island, to farmer George Brown and his wife Mary. In the 1880s, the Brown family began suffering from a mysterious affliction. In 1883, Mary Brown died from this mysterious illness, and by 1892, Mercy, along with her older sister, Mary Olive, had died as well. Shortly after Mercy Brown's death, her brother, Edwin, also got sick, and George was desperate to avoid losing another family member. Because so many family members had died within a relatively short amount of time, Exeter locals became convinced that one of the deceased family members was responsible for the illness. In March of 1892, a group of locals went to Chestnut Hill Cemetery to dig up and examine the bodies of Brown's deceased wife and daughters. Both Mrs. Brown and Mary Olive seemed to be decomposing normally, but Mercy's body showed almost no signs of decomposition. Her body seemed perfectly preserved, and liquid blood was found in her heart. This led many to believe that Mercy was a vampire and that her spirit was leaving her grave at night to claim the lives of her relatives. To stop her, the locals carved out Mercy's heart and liver, incinerated them, and mixed their ashes with water to form a tonic. This tonic was fed to Edwin in the hope that he would be cured. Unfortunately, Edwin died 2 months after Mercy's body was exhumed, due to a disease now known as tuberculosis. Today, we now understand that an outbreak of the White Plague was responsible for all the Brown family deaths, and the reason why Mercy Brown was so well preserved is because she was buried in an above-ground crypt due to the soil being too frozen in winter. The legend of Mercy Brown stands out from the rest of America's cryptids, as her story is more of an ancient legend than an actual cryptid, and because it has actually been debunked by science. However, her story has greatly shaped Rhode Island's culture, as Rhode Island is sometimes known as the vampire capital of America. Mercy Brown is also often considered to be America's first real vampire, and has inspired many other vampire tales, including the infamous Dracula. Today, Mercy Brown is quietly resting in Chestnut Hill Cemetery, and her grave continues to attract various paranormal hunters and enthusiasts. Among the various legends told in Connecticut, one of the more interesting ones is that of the Melon Heads. The Melon Heads are described as small humanoids about 4 feet tall, with pale skin, glowing eyes, and incredibly swelled heads that give the creatures their name. Melon Heads have mostly been spotted in forests or abandoned buildings, and generally seem timid and secretive in nature, but have been known to become aggressive on occasion, attacking people or vandalizing buildings. Many sightings have been reported in Fairfield County, Connecticut, specifically in the towns of Trumbull and Shelton. Workers paving Sawmill City Road in Shelton have claimed to hear voices coming from the woods, and tree experts examining the woods for fungal infestations have claimed to see strange silhouettes in the underbrush. A rather interesting account from the 1980s tells of a group of teenagers who went looking for Melon Heads after a football game, only to have their car stolen by childlike figures with swelled heads, rags for clothes, and glowing orange eyes. Similar reports of these creatures have popped up in other states as well, specifically in Kirtland, Ohio and Ottawa County, Michigan. Various legends have been told to explain the origin of these creatures. One of the more popular theories in Connecticut is that the Melon Heads were escapees from a mental hospital. Some claim that it was Fairfield Hills Hospital, which now lies abandoned, while others claim it was Garner Correctional Institute, a hospital that works with mentally challenged inmates. Others still refer to an unnamed mental institution that burned to the ground sometime in the fall of 1960, killing all of the staff and most of the patients. About 10 to 20 patients survived the fire and fled into the woods, where they resorted to cannibalism, causing their heads to swell. Another theory says that the Melon Heads were from a family that was accused of witchcraft and banished into the woods, and that the swelling was a mutation caused by centuries of inbreeding. In Michigan, some people believe that the Melon Heads were children suffering from hydrocephalus, a condition in which fluids accumulate in the brain which can lead to swelling, and that they were abused in an insane asylum in Ottawa County before escaping into the nearby forests. In Ohio, the most popular explanation is that the Melon Heads were victims of a mysterious doctor known as Dr. Crow, who was commissioned by the federal government to treat orphans with hydrocephalus shortly after the Second World War. Instead of treating them, however, Dr. Crow performed cruel experiments on the patients, before the patients burned down the orphanage and fled into the woods. These legends have persisted for many, many years, and to this day, people continue to drive down long, forested Connecticut roads at night in hopes that they just might spot a melon head. One of the most popular stories told in Massachusetts is that of the Dover Demon sightings in 1977. The Dover Demon is described as a small humanoid figure about 3 to 4 feet tall, with long, skinny limbs, an oversized watermelon-shaped head, big, glowing eyes, hairless skin, and no visible mouth, nose, or ears. The reported sightings of this creature all took place within the town of Dover, Massachusetts, hence the creature's name. This being was sighted 3 separate times over the course of 2 consecutive days in April of 1977. On April 21st, 17-year-old Bill Bartlett was driving down Farm Street with 2 friends, Mike Mazoka and Andy Brody. At 10:32 p.m., Bartlett saw a strange figure crawling along a low stone wall on the left side of the road. He at first assumed it was a dog or a cat, but when his headlights shone on the figure, Bartlett described it as a being with a large head, skinny limbs, glowing eyes, and skin that was peach-colored and looked almost like sandpaper. Bartlett was the only one of the group to see the creature, and only got a few seconds to look at it before the car continued driving down the road. Later on, Bartlett drew a picture of what he saw. Shortly after Bartlett's encounter, 15-year-old John Baxter left his girlfriend's house and started walking up Miller High Road toward his home. Around 12:30 a.m., Baxter saw a small figure walking towards him. At first, he thought it was a friend of his, but when he called out, there was no response. As Baxter continued to approach the figure, it suddenly ran off the road and down a nearby gully. Baxter followed the figure down the gully before seeing its silhouette on top of a nearby rock. The figure looked almost monkey-like, according to Baxter, with similar features to the creature that Bartlett saw earlier that night. Baxter quickly retreated back up the gully and finished his journey home at a fast pace. The third and final encounter happened the following day on April 22nd. 15-year-old Abby Brabham and 18-year-old Will Trainter claimed to have seen a similar-looking creature to the previous 2 accounts while driving down a local road. The only major difference was that Brabham described the creature's eyes to glow green, whereas the past 2 accounts described the eyes as glowing orange. All 3 of these sightings occurred within a relatively small geographical area over the span of roughly 25 hours. Various theories have sprung up regarding the Dover Demon's origins. Skeptics believe that the demon was merely a baby moose that was glimpsed under strange conditions that made it appear more like a humanoid. Believers respond to this by pointing out that moose aren't native to Massachusetts, along with the fact that moose calves are usually born in the months of May and June, not April. Another widely held theory is that the demon was actually an escaped monkey or gibbon, as female white-cheeked gibbons are orange in color, especially during infancy. Believers in the Dover demon suspect it to be an alien of some kind, or a mutated animal from a failed lab experiment, while others believe the whole story is just a big hoax. Despite the various theories, the Dover demon has not been spotted since, and to this day, its origin remains a mystery. The story of Sam Harris, also known as the Northfield Pigman, is a very popular tale in Northfield, Vermont, described as a humanoid figure wearing the head or face of a pig. The legend officially began in 1951 when a 17-year-old boy named Samuel Harris went missing. In his youth, Harris was a very mischievous and rebellious boy who enjoyed pranking his peers. On October 30th, 1951, Harris left his parents' home to egg nearby houses and never returned. A manhunt was launched, but after weeks of searching, there was no trace of Sam Harris. Many people began to speculate the disappearance, some saying that Sam simply ran away from home, never to return, while others claimed he was kidnapped or even killed. Supernatural enthusiasts believed that Sam stumbled upon something evil in the woods, something that either killed and ate him or transformed him into a monster, or that he was possessed by the devil himself. Years after Sam's disappearance, reports began coming in of a strange creature lurking around Devil's Washbowl, a natural pond near the town with caves close by. The creature was described as a naked humanoid figure covered in white hair and with the head of a pig. Many people believed that the Pigman was Sam Harris, that he would slaughter farmyard pigs, eat their entrails, then cut off and hollow out the heads to wear as a trophy. Others even believed that Sam also laid with the pigs, forming Pigman offspring. The first official sighting of the Pigman took place in 1971. A group of high schoolers were drinking behind their school one night during a dance, when they caught a glimpse of a figure emerging from the nearby woods. The figure stood upright on two legs, holding a knife in one hand and a bloody pig head in the other. The kids quickly fled in terror. Shortly after that sighting, a Northfield farmer claimed to have spotted a similar-looking creature rummaging through his garbage one night. The farmer also reported that some of his pigs had been killed and mutilated. As the years passed, more sightings were being reported, mostly from teenagers going into the woods to drink or to find the Pigman. There were reports of hearing deranged squealing in the woods, or seeing glowing eyes at night. Some people claimed to have found his lair near Devil's Washbowl, where there were piles of bones and skulls from past victims. Others even reported seeing him with his Pigman children, described as deformed humans with pig-like snouts or tusks. The Northfield Pigman has sparked much controversy in Vermont. Many people believe the stories of the Pigman, either that it's a real hybrid creature that preys on pigs and humans, or that it's actually Sam Harris, who went insane due to trauma or drug use, or even by means of satanic cults. Others believe that the Pigman is a copycat who's mimicking Harris and his legends, that he may be a serial killer or mentally insane person that enjoys terrorizing people and killing animals. Others still believe the entire thing is a hoax, stirred up by teenagers just looking for attention, especially since there are no newspaper reports or police records supporting the various claims. Nevertheless, the Pigman has become a core part of Northfield's culture, inspiring other local legends, various events, and even some merchandise. Our final stop in this video is New Hampshire, home of the Woods Devil. The Woods Devil is a creature found in the forests of northern New Hampshire, especially around Coos County. It is described as a tall, thin creature about 7 to 9 feet tall, with long, shaggy hair that's either tan or gray in color. Its face is similar to that of a horse, with a long snout and small, sunken eyes. It has large hands and feet with equally long claws, and it bears a very strong and unpleasant smell. Its appearance has often been compared with Bigfoot, although this creature is more lean and emaciated than large and muscular. It is very shy in personality compared to other cryptids, and would rather flee or freeze in place when spotted. It's incredibly silent and agile, and a master of camouflage. Its behavior has been compared at times with the hide-behind, a similar-looking creature that will quickly hide behind the nearest object to avoid being seen. According to legend, the woods devil normally feeds on small animals such as rabbits and mice, but will occasionally feed on carrion or rummage through garbage cans when food is scarce. Some reports of the woods devil include hearing loud screams or howls in the forest, while others only claim to hear soft rustling or what sounds like low growls or distant moaning. Legends and reports of the woods devil began around the 1940s and 50s, mostly by hunters in Coos County that claimed to hear or see the being in the woods. One of the earliest reports was by a hunter named George Lavoie in 1948, who claimed to have seen a strange creature with long gray hair and a horse-like face standing behind a tree close to his campsite. Lavoie apparently shot at the being but missed, and later on found large footprints close to the tree. In 1952, another hunter named Robert Goulet reported hearing screaming while out hunting in the woods near Dixville Notch. When Goulet followed the noises, he saw a similar-looking creature running away on two legs. Goulet also shot at the creature, but missed. Throughout the late 1900s, more and more people began coming forward with encounters with the woods devil. One of the most recent reports occurred in 1997, when a man named Bill Driscoll was driving down Route 26. He apparently encountered a strange, 9-foot-tall creature running across the road in front of his car, with very long limbs, gray hair, and a human-like face. The being looked at Driscoll briefly, before vanishing into the woods on the other side of the road. Like most cryptids in America, the woods devil has sparked a great deal of debate. Believers claim that the woods devil is a type of Bigfoot, adapted to denser forests and colder climates, while skeptics believe that it might have been a very mangy bear, or even a tall person wearing a ghillie suit. And of course, there are some people who believe the entire thing is fictional, created by hunters looking for a spooky story to share. Regardless of whether it's fiction or fact, the woods devil has become a special part of New England's folklore, and is a favorite ghost story of hunters, lumberjacks, and the like to share around a campfire. What's up everybody, Lone Wolf here. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to tonight's video. In case anyone is interested, all of the various elements used in this video, including pictures, music, sound effects, and stories, will be linked in the description below. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed the video, please feel free to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, click the bell for notifications so you don't miss a new video. If anybody has any personal stories or story recommendations for me, or any advice to help improve the channel, there will be links to all of my social media platforms in the description. I'm mostly active on Twitter and on Instagram, but I also have an email, a Discord server, and a TikTok account that you can message me on as well. Until next time, stay spooky. And remember,
the hunt begins when the moon is full.